This is Sakamoto, the legendary hitman who retired for love, family, and a peaceful life running a store. And now he's been immortalized in Shf form with the price of $60 where I live. Okay, so does this figure captures both sides of Sakamoto's, the world's deadliest man and the world's kindest cashier? You guys ready to find out? Because I am! First impression? Bright, bold, and totally unmistakable. This box screams Sakamoto Days energy. It's dominated by a solid yellow base with an orange backdrop that subtly frames the figure inside. It's that perfect mix of cheerful and chaotic, just like the series itself. The front window shows off the figure clearly. The logo placement on the upper right pops in red and black, while the Sakamoto name tag sits neatly under the window, modern and minimal. This is the bottom, the top, left side, and right side. The photography is clean and energetic, with that yellow background really amplifying the color of his green apron. On the back, you get the usual S.H.F layout, multiple dynamic poses, showing how surprisingly flexible this figure is. Overall, it's just a box that feels alive, not overly flashy but full of personality. Out of the box, wow, this figure might look simple at first, but there's an insane amount of subtle detail once you really start looking. Let's start with the head sculpt. His expression is calm but confident, the kind of relaxed smile that somehow says, I could end you with stationery. The glasses are perfectly scaled, thin, clear, and shaped to fit naturally on his face without warping. You can even see a bit of cheek definition under the lenses, a detail that gives him life. Moving on to the upper body, Sakamoto's yellow shirt has beautifully sculpted folds around the chest and sleeves, showing how the apron pulls on the fabric. The green apron itself looks great. There's soft sculpt texture to mimic fabric wave, and the strings in the back are tight and clean, not just molded flat. There's even subtle shading around the edges, like around the apron strap area and near the sleeves, adding depth and realism instead of looking like plain plastic. His arms are proportioned really well. The sleeves folds are insanely good, with a tiny bit of wrinkle sculpt that makes it look lived in. It's one of those figures that feel natural, not stiff at all. The pants are simple but sharply sculpted, smooth lines with realistic fold placement near the knees and ankles, and the shoes, they're painted with a soft matte tone and slight gloss on the tips, like clean indoor sneakers. Small detail, big payoff. The paint job overall is clean, no bleed, no uneven tone. The yellow shirt is bright but not toy-like, and that contrast with green apron really makes him pop. It's minimalistic but full of life, so I'd give this one 9 out of 10. Now let's talk about accessories, honestly, because this is where Sakamoto's character shines. Inside the box, you get a solid selection. 4 faceplates, 3 pairs of interchangeable hands, and 2 extra right hands, one holding a pen and the other holding a gun. Each face has its own mood. The calm smile, confident smirk, intense focus, and that slightly comedic dad grin. Even though they look the same, it's a beautiful balance between badass and wholesome. The hands are just as expressive, sculpted with realistic palm lines and natural fingers curves. They feel dynamic even when static. And the extra right hands, those are the soul of the figure, the gun hand for his assassin side, and the pen hand for his peaceful one. It's the duality of Sakamoto, right there in plastic form. Overall, accessories aren't stingy at all. They're just the right amount to pull off tons of poses later. Basically, every single accessory perfectly represents Sakamoto's personality. So yeah, 9 out of 10. Articulation-wise, Sakamoto's is shockingly flexible for a guy in apron. The engineering is smooth, subtle, and very functional. His shoulders use soft plastic sleeve overlays, so you get a clean range of motion without ugly cuts. He can raise both arms fully, aim naturally, and even mimic that iconic pant flick motion without any restriction. The torso joint has a great forward crunch and backward lean. The apron doesn't block movement, it bends and moves naturally with his sculpt. Combine that with a smooth waist swivel and you've got plenty of fluid posing option, from calm standing to sudden combat stance. Moving down, the legs have deep knee bends and flexible hip joints that stay well balanced. His ankles have reliable rocker pivots and toe hinges, which keep him stable even in wide stances or action poses. Everything feels tight, secure, and expressive. Sakamoto moves the way he's supposed to, effortlessly and naturally. You can tell Tamashii's goal here wasn't flashy articulation, it was about personality in motion. Solid 8.5 out of 10. Now, let's check the scale because proportion can make or break how figures blend in with your collection. Sakamoto stands at around 15 to 17 centimeters tall or roughly 5.9 inches, pretty standard for S.H.Figuarts scale. Next to Gojo Satoru, he's just a hair shorter, which fits since Sakamoto's design leans toward realistic proportions. Standing beside Luffy Gear 5, the difference is noticeable. Sakamoto's sculpt is more grounded, less exaggerated, giving off that real human presence compared to anime-styled proportions. And if you line him up with Yuji Itadori or Naruto, you'll see that he fits perfectly in modern SFF scaling. He won't look off if you display him with other anime figures. So whether you're building an anime shelf or a realistic S.H.Figuarts lineup, Sakamoto blends right in, but still pops thanks to that vibrant yellow and green combo. He's a calm figure that somehow owns the shelf without needing flashy effects or giant weapons. Okay, so box detail is done, a very detailed sculpt and paint done, accessories and articulation and the scale are done, and now let's create 7 poses! Now let's move to Sakamoto's iconic pose, the one where he attacks with his pen. Swapping the faceplates and hands is super easy and the arm joints feel nice and sturdy. Solid 9 out of 10. For the second pose, I use a stand base since his body is pretty big. I attached it to his leg instead. The articulation in this pose is really good. Everything moves smoothly and naturally. I'd give it an 8.5 out of 10. Still with the jumping pose, and please don't get tired of me saying this, the articulation is really good. Solid and super sturdy. My favorite part, the leg articulation, it's firm and satisfying. 9 out of 10. Okay, this time, it's Sakamoto's signature kick. Too bad the apron cannot be shaped or adjusted. It's just a flat piece of thin plastic. If it had more flexibility, this pose would have looked way cooler. So yeah, 8.5 out of 10. Alright, for the fifth pose, I wanted to test his stability. Even though it looks simple, balancing the toe articulation and legs actually took some effort. But in the end, it stands solid and steady. Yes! 9 out of 10. Alright, the iconic Shf Figuarts pose. Striking this pose was super easy, but what's not easy is dealing with the stand base that sometimes gets too heavy and tips over. Still, I'd say this pose deserves a solid 9 out of 10. And finally, the last pose, 7th pose. The leg and toe articulation are incredibly sturdy for this one. I'm honestly super happy with everything, the details, the accessories, and the articulations. Overall, I think it totally deserves a perfect 10 out of 10. When you really think about it, Sakamoto isn't just another ex-assassin story. He's the perfect symbol of balance. Strength without ego, calm without weakness. And this figure, it captures that balance in every sculpt line and joint. From the accessories to articulation, nothing here feels random. It's a story told through simplicity, through quiet confidence. This isn't a figure that shouts for attention, it just exists. Calm, composed, and absolutely cool. And that's what makes S.H.Figuarts Sakamoto special. Whether you love Sakamoto Days or you love figure with character depth, this one is a must. He's calm, he's deadly, he's Sakamoto. Now you have watched the review of S.H.Figuarts Sakamoto's. There are plenty figures waiting in line to be reviewed, so make sure you like and subscribe, especially if you are into anime figure review and unboxing. Follow me on social media, Madam Chip on Instagram or TikTok. Thank you for watching and see you in the next review. Bye-bye!